Thank you very much, Lesoy. I just want to give a brief recap of a presentation that I gave last night for those of you who missed it. We have all been through a most unprecedented period in our nation's history and our lifetime. The coronavirus pandemic is currently the greatest threat to humanity, and none of us had a roadmap of experience to navigate these uncharted waters. This is not the first time a disease of epic proportion brought the world to a standstill or shut down entire economies. The Spanish flu of 1918 infected 500 million people, or 1/3 of the world's population at the time. Unlike today, however, there were no effective vaccines available to arrest the spread. By the time it had run its course and come to an end in April 1920, it is estimated to have killed over 100 million persons. We are fortunate this time around to have safe and effective vaccines to help end this current pandemic. We therefore should not take these life-saving pharmaceuticals for granted. Some persons ask, can I delay taking the vaccine? We are actually in a race against time to stop the virus from developing more variants and claiming more lives in the process. There is therefore no time to wait. The more people who are vaccinated, the sooner we can eliminate the virus. The pandemic is like a fire that is about to engulf your home. You must use the vaccine that we have available now to put out the fire before it consumes you and your family. Turning a blind eye to reality does not eradicate the problem at hand. To date, more than 2.6 million persons are dead from this virus, and more will be lost if we don't take action. We, however, have the tools to prevent the spread of this deadly virus and to limit the death toll by simply following the instructions based on science and the acceptance of a vaccine we know is safe and effective. Some persons ask, who is responsible for leading this fight? The virus threatens every element of society. It is therefore not merely a health issue, and the problems created by it cannot be handled by any one governmental ministry. The Ministry of Health cannot and should not therefore be expected to handle this crisis alone. It requires the whole of government. So what is the whole of government approach? The whole of government approach means different government agencies with varying mandates working together to combat the common enemy, the COVID-19 pandemic that threatens our lives and livelihood. We therefore here have every single ministry of government involved in this fight. In the whole of government approach, it follows that the Prime Minister is at the top of the decision-making process, and successes or failures in the fight would be attributed to him. We are happy, however, that we are one of the few nations to have successfully fought this deadly virus so far with no community spread, no major hospitalizations, and no death. However, government alone cannot stop the spread of the virus without the involvement of the whole of society. And so what is the whole of society approach? The whole of society approach in the fight against this virus means government engaging all stakeholders in the fight. In particular, the engagement of the communities is at the core of this fight. And so we have to reach communities, families, and individuals. If communities are engaged and empowered with the knowledge needed to fight this deadly virus, we will succeed, as they will do the necessary things to protect themselves. From our community education sessions, we have had hundreds of individuals who come forward either at the time or days later and accept the vaccine. Some persons ask, why didn't you start the education program with the vaccines earlier? The right information must also be given at the right time to be effective and for people to understand the gravity of the situation and the appropriateness of the interventions needed. And that is why we started our education program in January 2020, way before the virus was declared a pandemic. We started by providing the nation with information about this new or novel virus. We spoke about the signs and symptoms, the mode of transmission, and the severity of the disease and the consequences of inaction. We also made sure that you were educated about the non-pharmaceutical measures needed to fight this virus. We warned that these measures would have to continue until a safe and effective vaccine was found, as this was the only way we can get out of this crisis. We never let up with our education program, coming to you every week here and sharing information about the pandemic. It was in December last year, December 8th in the UK, and December 14th in the United States that the first vaccines were rolled out. We here in St. Kitts, like the rest of the world, then began to step up our vaccination education program in a timely manner after that. The onus, however, must be on each and every one of us. We need the combined strength, unity, and effort of all in the fight if we are going to be successful. You do not need a formal invitation to participate in the fight. You can use whatever platform you have available to get the message out. And in this era of fake news and misinformation, the media must understand that they also have a crucial role to play with balance and factual reporting so that the public can be well informed. What can you say about our vaccine rollout? On February 22nd, we began our vaccine rollout. In just over 3 short weeks, we have vaccinated 7,071 persons, or 21.4% of the target population. This is very significant, and they put the challenge out there to you for us to get to 1/4 of our population by mid next week. We know that the jab is effective. The first gives you 76% efficacy, and by the second it rises to 82.4. But the effectiveness of preventing hospitalization, severe disease, and death is even higher if we get to herd immunity. Some persons ask, is the Astrazeneca vaccine safe? Health authorities in several European countries suspended the use of Astrazeneca vaccine following reports of formation of blood clots in some persons who were vaccinated. It is important to note that blood clots can occur naturally and are not uncommon. The WHO data shows that of the 268 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines that were administered worldwide, no serious side effects or deaths have been found to be caused by them. They have continued to report that AstraZeneca is an excellent vaccine and that no causal relationship had been established between the shots and the health problems that were identified, and that vaccination should continue. Even in Denmark, where the rollout was suspended for 14 days, the director of the national board there said that while the investigations are taking place, there is good evidence that the vaccine is both safe and effective. The European medical regulators said that there is no indication that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is linked to an increased risk of blood clots. They said that the number of cases in vaccinated people was no higher than that in the general population. There were 37 cases of persons who developed blood clots from 17 million persons who received the jab in Europe. Of note, 2% of persons who get COVID-19 disease develop blood clots. And of the 17 million persons in Europe who got the blood clot, the 37 who, of the 17 million persons who got the vaccination, the 37 persons who got blood clots, this comes to 0.0002%. In other words, you are currently 10,000 times more likely to get a clot if you got COVID-19 disease than if you got the vaccine, if there was found to be a link. And that is why they said the benefits of getting the vaccine outweigh the risk. The final decision from the EMA would be released tomorrow, and both Italy and France said that they would resume their vaccination program once they get the all clear. My final advice: despite all the hard work that we have done in containing the virus here, everything can be lost by a few irresponsible persons. We must all work together to keep our country safe. We must not hesitate and get vaccinated as soon as we can. The vaccine is guaranteed to protect you. It can prevent you from getting sick, from getting severe disease, from being hospitalized, and more importantly, from dying. I thank you.